Go for the eyes, Boo! Go for the eyes! Rusk!
Alright, hello and good evening. I am Thrict, and tonight I am doing my first installation of our single player games, in which case I will be talking about a game that is near and dear to my heart, Baldur's Gate. This game is actually, this year will be coming up on its 20th year anniversary. So I'm going to give you a little bit of a breakdown on it and why this is one of my favorite games. First of all, the game came out in 1998. It was released by BioWare Studios and published by the now defunct Interplay Studios subdivision Black Isles. The game was BioWare's second game after Shattered Steel, and it started as a demo titled Battleground Infinity. But over the course of its 3-year development period and acquisition of a D&D license from SSI, Strategic Simulations Incorporated, it morphed into the final product. It ran on a homebrewed engine, the Infinity Engine, that BioWare created in-house, and used a modified version of the Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd Edition rule set, also known as 2nd Edition AD&D, for those of us that don't have lives. It was released in fall quarter of 1998. Originally, by Interplay, it was expected to have a low sales expectation, and it originally had a sales goal set by BioWare of 200,000 units. Within 2 weeks of launch, the game had sold 175,000 units. And by fall quarter of 1999, it had sold 700,000 units, grossing $15.7 million that year. That earned it the 7th highest grossing video game of 1999, and it has since won numerous awards, an aggregate rating of 91 through 92%, and the accolade that it saved computer-based D&D games from the waste bin. In 1999, it spawned its first expansion pack, that's how far back we're going, Baldur's Gate, Tales of the Sword Coast. In 2000, it spawned its first sequel, my favorite RPG in existence, Baldur's Gate 2, Shadows of Amn, which received its own expansion pack in 2001. As with all things popular in video games, and in D&D, it has spawned media based on it, and it references media spawned on it, including a really bad cartoon show we should never reference existing. In this case, the Baldur's Gate novelization by Philip Athens in 1999. The same friend that introduced me to this series had a copy of that book. I'm kind of sad he spent money on it. I honestly preferred the movie Double Dragon to reading that piece of shit.
Double Dragon is a treasure.
So is Street Fighter.
Street Fighter killed Raul Julia.
To you, Raul Julia died that day. To Bison, it was Tuesday. In 2012, Overhaul Games, a division of Beamdog Games, released Baldur's Gate Enhanced Edition. This was an updated port of Baldur's Gate that incorporated graphical updates from Baldur's Gate 2, mechanical balancing, and mechanical expansion from Baldur's Gate 2, and incorporated new game modes and characters. With the exception of the new content, it's basically a setup version of the Baldur's Gate 2.2 mod and some of the We Do mods that, well, I'm showing how much I've been in modding and how long I've been in modding games. But also, the game was ported to iOS, Apple OS X, and Android platforms. Prior to this, the game was only available on PC.
Where it should stay.
Shut up! You're not part of the PC Master Race. I don't want to hear you talking. In 2016, the Enhanced Edition spawned its own expansion pack, Baldur's Gate: The Siege of Dragonspear. This sets the game for having the strange accolade of having the longest period between expansion packs in gaming, to my knowledge. Spoonie will correct me if I'm wrong. See below. In this case, 18 years between the game being released and a proper expansion pack being released. As for controls of gameplay, much like another game released by Interplay, the Fallout series, specifically Fallout 1 and 2, this game is a turn-based isometric RPG. Ergo, Spoonie's comment earlier about it should stay on PC. Those of you who, like me, were introduced to computer games in this style may have loved it. Those of you who came to this far, far later, it's gonna be a rough ride. I'm sorry. The game does take efforts to simulate real-time. Mechanically, it is turn-based, much like the system it is based on. To break it down, you have a party of up to 6 adventurers based on classes available at the time in D&D. Fighter, Paladin, Ranger, Thief, not Rogue, Cleric, Wizard, and Bard. The Enhanced Edition includes the kick classes, which are precursors to the variant and archetype classes that show up in 3rd Edition and Pathfinder. And it also includes the, at the time, beta testing classes for 3rd Edition D&D, Sorcerer, Monk, and Barbarian. They're really weird because, again, they were beta testing these classes, and they're not properly implemented in 2nd Edition D&D. You can choose and customize the sex, race, and class of your character within restrictions based on the mechanics of 2nd Edition D&D at the time, i.e., Paladins can only be human. Multi-classing as we know it doesn't really exist. Dual classing is restricted to race class combos, etc. As for the musical score, the game has a full orchestral score fitting the epicness of a D&D campaign. I love using the music as background listening music when I'm running a D&D game to set the mood. Personal favorites from the soundtrack include Safe in Baragost, Cloakwood Forest, and Night Falls on Baldur's Gate. BioWare went balls to the wall on the music, and as the series went on, it just went better and better. One of my favorite tracks from later installation would be Baldur's Gate 2 Throne of Balls title music. Just, it's bombastic as all hell. For the plot is a bit cliche as far as an RPG goes, but also, this game came out in 1998, so some of the cliches hadn't been properly set yet. The game is set in the Forgotten Realms setting for Dungeons & Dragons. You start in your safe, sleepy hometown, in this case, the cloistered fortress of Candlekeep. Wow, there's some mileage there on what's safe and sleepy. Your adoptive father, Gorion, has informed you that you must prepare to leave the Citadel with all haste, and that he will inform you more as... Your adoptive father, Gorion, has informed you that you must prepare to leave the Citadel with all haste, and that he will inform you more once you have left the Citadel. But first, you must gather your party before you venture forth.
You must gather your party before venturing forth.
In the process of preparing to leave, going through the tutorial, you are subjected to 2 assassination attempts, telling you that there's something going on with your father's frantic need to flee. Upon leaving Candlekeep, Gorion and you are ambushed by aggressors, and your father orders you to run for your life. As you are running, you witness your father's death, and must now make your way alone in the hostile wilderness with only knowledge of your father's initial destination to aid you, the Friendly Arm Inn, which is not too far away. And then your annoying childhood friend, or fan favorite character, depends on which camp you're in, Emma reveals the fact that she tailed you out of town and insists on helping you, or unendingly annoying you for eternity. From there, you delve into a plot that is set to throw the region into war, setting 2 powers against each other, and ultimately ends in an attempt to resurrect a dead god. We even get a Star Wars-esque "I am your brother" reveal. I would say Metal Gear-esque, but the game actually came out the same year Metal Gear Solid did. So, I can't help you here. I don't know. Metal Gear. Final verdict, as I've already stated, I personally love this game and replay it annually. It's what got me into tabletop gaming. It's actually what introduced me to D&D. However, it took me until I was 18 to properly understand what I was doing. And it's what seriously got me into RPGs as my preferred genre of video games. I cannot recommend this game enough. Subsequent installations of the series have some learning curve issues. Spoony hates the beginning of Baldur's Gate 2 due to Chateau Adrenicus, but yeah, that's its own thing and that's a different game. So again, good night, good gaming.
Pretty good.
Well, if you like our content and would like to see more and help our channel grow, hit the like button. Also, hit the bell down in the corner there to get notifications when the update.